Hi, Rob.
Hi, I wasn't sure if it was recording.
Hi, Rob.
Hi. Candace has had some mead, so I just wanted to make sure before we had a very long conversation that it was actually being recorded.
We're good.
I'm fine.
I'm also fine.
I'm totally good. I've got it. We are so ready.
So ready. No, Kyle.
Welcome to Creeps Me This Out.
It's
Sorry.
welcome to This Creeps Me Out.
Yes.
Rob has, I think, finally learned.
I have learned. I've typed it enough times now that I know.
Have you?
Yeah.
But you can't read, though.
What? I'm just working around it. It's a loophole. Just one more obstacle in my life. I can't read it, but I can write it.
It's important. That's impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad for your support.
You're very welcome. But yeah, welcome to this week's episode of This Creeps Me Out.
Yes.
It's going to be creepy. It's going to be scary.
I think so too. And I think this one's going to be fun because
and hairy.
Yeah, it's going to be very hairy. That sounded so ominously weird. But I think the fun thing about this one is we've been doing some more obscure type stuff, I think, in terms of, even if it's like a more well-known subject. So this one is going to be more like something I think people obviously have an idea about.
Yeah. Well, I like, not to toot our horns, but
Do it.
I like do it.
Do it. Yes.
I like how we kind of organize things. It's not like it's the most ingenious thing in
It's
the
a
world.
pretty loose organization,
Not.
but we are following a formula. Yeah.
I like the thematic organized. It's not just like we're just doing like...
Yeah, we're not like, we should do this and then do it. Yeah, we try to...
It's different types of groupings of things, and I love grouping things. It's kind of like in my little research nature, like, we're going to do this type of thing, and then this type of thing, and then try to investigate it.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes for you guys.
Yeah.
But, but in truth, it's also like, just for you all out there listening, we don't want you to just all of a sudden find yourself in a month-long topic with us. And we're like, well, we're doing it again.
Yeah.
So...
And we try to keep it fun and loose. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode of Potato the Poltergeist.
Oh my God. Yes.
Potato.
We're so sorry.
Potato really loves recording podcast episodes. And I think he is a poltergeist.
Look, he saw an opportunity and he went for it.
He did.
Okay.
Also, we did not have carrots for him.
We didn't, and I think he was annoyed about that.
I did give him, when you came over tonight, like 5 carrots, and he's gonna be fat.
That dog will never be fat.
No.
I think his anxiety alone causes him to just shake, which causes him to burn
Yeah.
calories. So...
Oh, Potato baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But this week we are without Potato. He is haunting another part of the house.
With
husband Kyle.
Yeah. He's haunting Kyle.
Yeah. And we did feed him beforehand, so hopefully he's not going like...
I'm sure he's down there making all of those noises right now.
Yes. Or playing with Humphrey. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a fun episode for you today. I think, at least, it's going to be fun and creepy. And I'm probably not going to want to go for a walk in the woods again.
No, not for a while at least. I'm excited about this episode mainly because I feel like it's one of those urban legendy type of things that everybody has some kind of story about or like knowledge about. So instead of being so aloof, since everybody read the description anyway and they know what it's about, this week we're talking about Bigfoot. Or Sasquatch. Or a Yeti. Or the Abominable Snowman. Or a whole bunch of them.
Many different types of names. And we're going to go through some of them and talk about the descriptions.
Yes.
And
obviously.
end with a really...
Imagine if we just started this and we're like, we're not going to tell you anything.
Nothing. You should know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
Candace is not allowed to have mead before recording ever again.
It's really good. Thank you, Aunt Lynn, for buying this bottle of mead for Kyle.
Yes, Aunt Lynn, thank you so much. It is so great. I was so loving it.
She's so cute. She labeled the bottle like half Kyle, half Candace.
Oh, that's adorable.
So
she's cute. We love Aunt Lynn.
She's cute. She's great.
Yeah. So do we want to just jump right into this?
Go for it. Tell me all about my friend who shares a very similar shoe size to me.
Does he? How big are your feet?
Big.
Wait, what are you size women's?
Okay, now everyone's gonna know, and I will start with telling a story from my own past.
Okay. Story time with Candace. Here we go.
So, I have large feet for a lady.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
At least I'm grateful that it's still within, like, if I go to a DSW or the Macy's shoe department.
They'll
I can
have
find
it.
shoes.
Yeah. Payless used to be the best.
Oh, was it very inclusive?
Oh yeah, they had like the smallest of smalls to the biggest of bigs. Drag queens loved Payless. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I've had large feet for a very long time.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But like,
Glad to hear they haven't just sporadically changed over
yours
the years.
didn't just go 5 sizes up in a night like mine did.
I mean, I have weird feet anyway, but
we both have weird feet.
mine's medical though.
I was born this way.
I mean, me too, but mine's medical.
Mine aren't.
Yeah, no, yours are just large
this is an
feet.
inheritance. So
we are Bigfoot. That's what we're going with.
I remembered when I was in, I think, 8th grade, and I had like a size 9 for a lady, but like that's a pretty big shoe size for being
like an
13 years old.
And what are you now?
I'm a size 10.5, 11.
That's not that bad.
Okay, but it's not great. And
why is it? But then why is that like a problem?
my feet I feel like hang over the stairs when I walk down them sometimes because they're so
Extra
long.
grip. What's the problem?
My toes don't grip that way.
Oh, okay, well, never mind.
And it's so hard to find a good quality boot.
That's fair. I will give you that. I know a lot of drag queens get jealous of me because my feet are actually on the smaller side because I was born with a clubbed foot, hence the medical part. And in women's, I wear like an 8.5, 9.
No, I know you wear smaller shoe sizes than I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And all the queens hate me because I can get into like
You get to the good
I can
shoes.
squeeze into the good shoes that they just don't have options for.
If you like chose to wear women's shoes every single day, you would have better options for shoes than I do.
Oh, absolutely. Like and the boots too, because I don't even have like super thick calves either.
No, I know.
Although I do have nice calves, but that's
You
not
do
the
have
point.
lovely calves.
Yeah.
But like you could get into the really good shoes.
I can.
And for me, like my mother would always tell me, if you find a good boot, you buy it because you're never going to find it again.
And you buy 5 of it.
Yes. She was just like, they have different colors and you like it, go get different colors.
Yeah.
It's like because stock up. So
Yeah.
I have a giant shoe collection of things. Like I don't really wear heels anymore because I work
That's
on my
fair.
feet all the time.
Yeah, don't do that. It's
And
terrible
like I
for your
used
feet
to like
anyway.
wear them like in the city when I worked like at like the antiquarian shop. But and I'm just like, fuck that, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No. But like I love a beautiful boot. And
They're nice. Yeah.
I have 10.5 inches of feet. I looked it up on Google.
It's a good thing you put the feet at the end.
Yeah. A size 11 is 10.5 inches. And after reading about Bigfoot, I've realized I am not far off.
How big are Bigfoot?
16 inches.
Okay, I mean, you've got some, you got some, like, room to grow.
5.5 inches difference.
I mean, but,
That's
you know what
nothing.
kills me? How tall are you?
5'7", 5'8".
Okay, you're like my height.
I'm a little, yeah, about your height, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
But like,
it's not like you're like a giant lady.
I'm not. No, I'm not a giant lady. And my tits don't go over my shoulder.
No. Well, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Someone out there is like, you're still young.
No, but like, I've never loved the big feet. I've always been away from wearing white shoes because I was afraid my feet were going to look bigger.
You know what's funny? I have never noticed that you have big feet.
Well, I am so self-conscious, and there have been times where, like, as a kid or, like, in high school especially, I would go shoe shopping, and they'd, like, ask you for your size. They would laugh at me.
Who laughed at you?
The salespeople, they would laugh in my face, and I'd be like, 10.5, 11, they're like, we don't have that.
What the fuck kind of pretty woman scenario is
I know,
this?
and I was like, I have money to spend.
And then Richard Gere picked you up and it all worked out.
And that's why I love Richard Gere.
Is that what
We talked about him in a previous
that's
episode.
right. I forget.
With Mothman.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
No,
duh.
big fan of Richard Gere. That's why, because he could be my savior for my feet.
I believe it. Oh my God.
So thank you, Richard Gere.
Um,
So yeah, I sympathize.
You are Bigfoot,
I
yeah.
think I am Bigfoot. If I go through walking through the woods, my hobbit feet. And
with
me.
your hobbit feet. You don't have hobbit feet.
No, I don't have hobbit feet, but
You just have big feet, which is fine.
yeah, but I don't like it. And I feel like I can swim a little faster though, because I got like little flippers.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some strong feet.
got strong feet.
Good for swimming.
Yeah. But don't like being made fun of for the feet size.
Understandably.
But we make fun of Bigfoot that way.
Yeah. Well, just don't go to Oklahoma. That's all.
I don't plan on it.
The only reason I mention it is because and this is one of my little tidbits that I found while I was researching Bigfoot.
Do tell.
is Justin Humphrey, who is wearing a cowboy hat in his official photo, and he is a lawmaker.
Oh, good.
He introduced a bill in Oklahoma to permit the hunting of Bigfoot.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. But you can't kill it. You can only capture it for a $25,000 bounty.
Only $25,000?
Yeah, in Texas, it's legal to hunt Bigfoot and kill it, I think. But you need a hunting permit.
I'm going to go get a hunting permit to hunt Bigfoot.
What?
No, I would. I would never hurt him.
I just think it's funny that because that's kind of like where we're going this episode.
Okay.
Is either you're talking about like people who like scientifically are like, this is the possibility of a Bigfoot. And then you also have, nah, Tanya, I saw one. Down by the river, look just like my ex-wife. Like that kind of thing. Like,
do you believe in Bigfoot?
That's a question I was going to ask you, actually.
Well, I asked you first.
Well, that's fine. I asked you first. Do I believe in Bigfoot? I go back and forth. Only because I highlighted this in one of them. There are over 10,000 documented sightings of Bigfoot.
I'm sorry, the window behind you, I was just seeing lights in the sky.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Rob, it's happening. The aliens. But no, I think it was a reflection from something. I don't know.
You mean maybe all of the lights in this room, you have literal string lights up?
No, they were like red shining lights. And I was like, Rob, it's the blimp alien ship. And I was like...
This was already going to be a crazy episode, but you being buzzed is going to make
happen.
It. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
No,
what was I saying?
Bigfoot. Woods.
10,000 documented sightings.
That's a lot of people.
But that's my thing is it's...
Where, though?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
So this goes back to like Native Americans and on different continents where they have like their versions. Generally speaking, there is like, the indigenous people have like stories of Bigfoot-esque creatures. How
are they describing it? It's just like
they're all
Candace walking in the woods with some giant feet.
Candace walking, a buzzed Candace in the woods. No, they're all fairly similar. So generally, let's just do the description of Bigfoot.
Go for
then.
it.
Let's jump right into that too. Let me just siphon through my book that I wrote today.
Is it 1 feet tall with tits hanging low?
No.
And you gotta suckle the back.
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't run into that one. So the description. So this is our current gal pal that we're talking about.
Wikipedia?
Well, I mean, I'm always pulling from Wikipedia. Yes, my good Judy Wikipedia.
Yeah, you do love her.
But so I love that it starts with alleged observations of Bigfoot. They describe it in varying ways, but they're all pretty similar. So it's a large, muscular, bipedal ape-like creature.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Very good. Yes. Roughly 1.8 to 2.7 meters tall, which is 6 to 9 feet.
Thank you for doing that calculation.
I didn't. It's in Wikipedia. Wikipedia's got us, girl. This is why we like Wikipedia.
6 to 9 feet.
6 to 9 feet tall.
I'm not that tall.
No, you're not.
No.
Very good. Yes, Candace. Good. You did it. And they are covered in black, dark brown, or dark reddish hair.
I feel like I've always seen images of Bigfoot with the reddish brown, like a very auburn Bigfoot.
It depends. I've found like different places describe him differently.
Okay.
So it's like I know in the States that it's predominantly in the Pacific Northwest that most of the sightings are.
Okay.
And I think they see.
But then also you said Oklahoma and Texas.
Well, there's sightings all over the country. But,
now, I could be jumping way ahead.
No, you're fine.
But like. Is it the same Bigfoot? First of all,
it's the one dude who's just running all over. Yeah,
he just keeps walking.
He's just he's a mall walker.
But through the States,
you know what it is? He's just looking for shoes.
And they keep laughing in his face.
He just can't find shoes. That's what this whole thing is.
Every DSW throughout the land.
He's gonna come visit you to commiserate.
And do you remember our friend Colleen from high school? Do you know what she used to call DSW?
No.
The shoe warehouse.
The shoe warehouse. Of course she did.
So that's where he's going.
Well, they're all over the country, so he doesn't need to go everywhere.
No, but he can't. They're out of stock.
Since the beginning of time, that DSW has existed.
He never had the boot he wanted.
This is where the 10,000 sightings come from. His cashiers at DSW.
Like, he came in, he really wanted a heel. But he crushed it.
He's just trying to get his drag career off the ground.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
RuPaul, if you're listening.
Cast Bigfoot.
But like, is it a family of big feets?
A big feet? Yeah, what are they called as a group? Are they big feet or just Bigfoots?
I like big feets.
Sasquatches.
Sasquatches?
I would think it's Sasquatches.
Okay. But like, is it... Because he's a cryptid.
He's a cryptid, yes.
So, like with the Mothman, I feel like when we describe Mothman or Mothmen, it's kind of like this one creature or this type of creature. Is Bigfoot a type?
It's a type because it's a species.
Okay.
So, like, you are not seeing the same one.
That's my wonder. Is it the same immortal Bigfoot?
No. It is because people have seen what they called a child Bigfoot. Yeah, they've seen male
remember that
and
Jack
female.
Black movie where he was like the pick of the devil. Did you ever watch that one?
I don't know.
Oh my god! So
there's a lot happening in that sentence.
I'll unpack.
Yes, please.
There's a Jack Black movie that husband Kyle and I watched where he's looking for the pick of destiny. I think it's called.
Oh, it's called the pick of destiny.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that
sounds.
And he gets really high at this one moment, and he's
so
in the woods, and he climbs a tree, and he's like, "It's my Baby-Sass," and it's a baby Sasquatch, and he's like holding it, but kind of just always be like, "My Baby-Sass." That's what I wanted to contribute.
That's all I have for that moment. No, but yeah, so people have seen Baby-Sass.
Baby-Sass.
I'm going to call them that, Baby-Sass.
Baby-Sass.
That's funny.
It's cute.
It is cute. They do seem like they would probably be pretty cute.
Hairy. I think they're more furry or hairy.
It's hairy. That people would describe them as hairy.
So do they have to get haircuts?
I mean, theoretically, I would assume technically yes, but
my
they
hair
don't.
grows.
Yeah, but I feel like it grows to a certain point.
No, it keeps growing.
Well, on them, I think it's...
That's what science is.
Well,
Rob.
Gorillas have hair, but it only grows so much.
I have to get Humphrey's haircut.
Yeah, but Humphrey's a dog. He has fur.
No, he has hair.
Oh, that's true. But, I mean, it's different. He's a dog.
I'm going to be putting you through the ringer.
I'm fine with it. I'm ready for these questions. I'm telling you, I did so much
research today that
I didn't even say research just now. I don't know what I just said. I was like, research.
You did it. But I'm just going to be annoying the shit out of you.
No, it's fine, because that's fine, because then, like, we really get into all of the...
We get into the important questions. Like, who's cutting Bigfoot's hair?
Yeah, and are there Baby-Sasses? Sashes, or whatever it was.
Not sashes. It's not going to a prom.
Maybe that's why he's so upset.
He gave him the shoes for the prom.
He's trying to find his shoes for that. I love that by the end of this, he's going to prom.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. So, fun fact that I actually wanted to mention, because I do think it's funny. Bigfoot is not, like, a terrible name. Neither is Sasquatch.
Explain.
Well, in my research, it was funny because... We, in the United States, being the United States... Hold on, let me just pull up this.
And that we're awful people?
What?
Because we're awful people?
I wasn't going to go with that. I was just going to go with... If you look at, like... Because the other reason why... That question you asked me, do I believe in it or not? Oh,
yes, I forgot.
Well, I mean, honestly, we can use that as an overarching question of, do we believe in it or not? It's hard for me to say no, only because, like we said, this goes back to, like, the indigenous people on different continents having very similar stories.
Which is also similar to when... I mean, the story of the Great Flood is in many cultures.
Yeah.
So, like, Noah's Ark is not just a Christian tale.
Yeah, which makes it hard to be, like... Did it not happen?
Yeah.
But, so, let me see if I can... Oh, okay. So, something I highlighted that I think is kind of funny is that, like, in other cultures, similar alleged creatures, like what they call them, are, like, really cool, like, badass names. Like, in Siberia, they have the Chichunya.
Oh.
The Chichunya. In the Philippines, they have the Momo... I'm sorry, hon. This is gonna be like
it's your turn.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. I don't want to like.
I know. When I remember these things earlier today, I was like, I'm not going to even attempt any of these words.
It's like the Mamango is one of them. That's the Philippines. In what's another good one here? In Australia, which we're going to talk about, they have the Yowie.
Okay.
In China, they have the Yerin.
And these are all similar kind of description things.
They're basically Bigfoot of different regions.
Interesting.
And Scotland, they have the Fearleith.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't even know what that was. But then the United States has a few of them. We have Bigfoot, we have Sasquatch.
Yeah.
We have, what's the one that's like not the worst? Oh, Momo the monster.
Momo the monster.
Which I have no idea what that is. I don't even know if that's technically Bigfoot, but it might be. Then some people do call him the skunk ape.
That's sad for him.
It's because he smells. Somebody
Probably can't get a bathtub.
Well, I mean, one description of him, it was that, like, imagine, like, 5-week-old roadkill that rolled around in garbage or something like that.
No.
Yeah. But then my favorite one is, and I might just be saying this wrong, but there's the Fouke monster.
I'm going to go with you saying that wrong, but
Fouke. How would you say that?
Fouke. Yeah, I'd say Fouke.
It's the Fouke monster. Yeah. Yeah, right? But
yes, in English it sounds ridiculous.
In English, I'm sure that it's really not. It's a funny sounding word. To me, at least. Sorry if it's offensive. But it does sound funny. But then, what were we talking about?
If we believe in Bigfoot, but then also how all these different cultures have these different iterations of Bigfoot's name.
So that leads... But, like, that's the hard thing then. Because it's like, in my mind, if you can go anywhere... Mm-hmm. And, like, because it's, like, even, like... And this is something I would love to talk about at some point, is the pyramids.
I thought you were going to say a pyramid scheme. I'm like, I'm not joining
We're talking about a pyramid scheme. That does creep me out. But, no, but, like, even, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And it's always something in Philadelphia. They're like, it's the reverse funnel.
The reverse funnel.
Because D falls for a pyramid scheme, but they reversed the pyramid, and she didn't think it was a pyramid scheme. Like, no, they call it the reverse funnel system. And they're like, flip it upside down.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, my
it's a
God.
scheme.
I love that show.
It's so good.
But yeah, like with the pyramids, you can find pyramids, not just in Egyptian culture. You can find it in, like, I want to say, like, the Mayans or the Aztecs and, like, other places.
They're taller structures made of...
But they're similar.
Different ingredients, though, a lot of the time. Or different builds.
Yeah, but they're similar enough that it's, like... Because, like, most of our buildings are not that similar culturally. You know what I mean? Like, especially in, like, aesthetic design. But pyramids... And they're always, like, some big... symbolic thing, you know?
I just researched on that one. But I am a very strong believer that the pyramids were invented by very brilliant Egyptians.
Oh, I agree. And, I just mean, it's just like, it's one of those things, like, even like Stonehenge, other cultures have versions of Stonehenge.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? Like you know what I mean?
I love Stonehenge. I know it's like a really, like, touristy thing to go to, but we went at sunset when I went to England, and it was really cool. I
imagine it must have been really pretty, too.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Time.
I'm not going next week, though.
I don't blame you. Yeah, Candace is going abroad for a week, by the way.
I am. I'm going to England. I leave in a couple days, and I'll be back in a week.
Yeah. It won't affect our schedules.
No, you're fine.
Other common descriptions also include broad shoulders, no visible neck, long arms.
Hang on. No visible neck?
No visible neck.
How do they turn their head?
It's not that they don't have one. Their head isn't just directly connected to their torso. They have to turn the whole body.
How do you look left and right?
What do you mean they don't have a neck? No, I think it's usually that it's either covered, like, by their hair.
Let's shave them.
We're going to answer this question today.
Go get Bigfoot. I'll get the shavers.
I think the way they know they have a neck is because there are, like, documented, like, photos and stuff like that where they're, like, turning their head but not their whole body.
Mayhaps those are obviously fake because they're turning their neck.
Maybe you've just solved the difference between hoaxes and real ones is whether or not they have a neck and
if they are turning their entire torso to look at you, they are the Bigfoot. Because they have no neck.
But most people who kind of, like, combat this say it's probably like a bear.
Rawr.
Yes. Exactly. Like a black bear.
But not like an Auburn bear.
Are there red Auburn bears?
I don't know, like a brownish.
I mean, grizzlies are bread.
Yes,
brownish
they
red.
Are bread. Are you sure you didn't have any mead tonight?
I didn't. I'm just normally like this. Some people have reported like a glowing yellow or red eye.
Like an owl?
Yes, actually, they bring that up, which is
Oh
why I
my
was going to bring it up. Yeah. But however, eyeshine is not present in humans and other known apes. So
Interesting.
yeah. So one of the things people bring up is that they're probably seeing perched owls, raccoons, or possums.
It always comes back to the owl.
It's always owls. That I actually wrote on one of these like this is we are basically proving birds aren't real because everything is blamed on owls. It's just the government.
I'm going to go look at birds next week.
Are you?
Yeah, my friend Alicia and I are going to the English coast, and we're going to look at birds on a cliff.
Well, you're wasting your money because they're not real. And then, of course, the big one, the number one thing everybody knows, and I actually know where the name Bigfoot comes from, is obviously people finding their footprints. And they are basically Candace walking around the woods. But no, they are generally about 24 inches long, which...
Wait,
hold on.
24 inches?
Yeah. The enormous footprints for which the creature is named are claimed to be as large as 24 inches long, which is 2 feet.
Okay.
And 8 winches.
8
Jesus.
inches
8
wide.
inches wide. Some footprint casts have also contained claw marks, which people are like, duh, that's a bear. And
duh, that's a bear.
Yeah, which have 5 toes and claws. But the main reason that sometimes it's different is sometimes there's almost like a thumb-looking toe print, which obviously is not found generally in bears because they do not have opposable anything.
I can't do much with my toes. Can you do anything with your toes?
My right toes, I mean, I can...
What do you do with it?
Nothing, like, I don't know, what do you mean? I use them to balance, to stand.
But bears can stand.
Yes.
Without a toe.
But I don't have opposable toes.
Okay.
What is this question? You're not allowed to drink before recording ever again.
I think I read on like Wikipedia it was 16 inches, but maybe that was a Baby-Sass.
I mean, again, this all varies because...
Well, okay, I feel better about my feet because
they're not 2 feet long and 8 inches wide.
Yes.
That's for the best. Yeah.
I don't know how wide these are. I'm gonna go with...
They're not that wide. They're like 3 or 4 inches.
Okay. So I'm a Baby-Sass.
You're a Baby-Sass. If you were a little hairier, people would think you were a Baby-Sass.
I do have a lot of long hair, though.
Yeah, but it's only on your head. Which is important to note.
And I can move my neck.
Yes, you can. You do have a visible neck situation. So, that does change it very much.
Well, I think I'm glad that I now know that I'm not a Bigfoot.
See, the whole question for us was, do we believe they're real? And for Candace's was, God fucking please let me find out I'm not one. This has just been an eye-opening experience for you.
Check that box.
Check that box off. But so if you are interested in Bigfoot and you do want to do some of your own research, because we realistically cannot cover everything in this episode, there is something called the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization.
I'm not going to join that.
You don't have to join it.
I won't.
Okay. Well, I will not be paying money to that. As it is, Netflix
to that organization.
Just raised their prices. I don't have. I know.
Why
it's
are they
ridiculous.
Doing
that? Well, not to make this about more serious things outside of our country right now.
Oh yeah.
But there's the potential that they're going to have like Russian propaganda on their program in their programming. Yeah, I was like, what? And I was like, you can't introduce a price hike and then also Russian propaganda. So
what?
Yeah, it's hard because I don't want to cancel Netflix, but I will if they do that. Anyway.
And Etsy also raised their prices for sellers' fees.
Etsy?
An additional 1% we get charged if we sell an item.
That's ridiculous. I don't know why they're doing that.
Because they're greedy motherfuckers.
Everybody's raising their prices on everything. I'm like, you gotta stop. I don't know what this is about.
I was like, I don't make that much money.
And even if I did, I don't want to pay for cable that's just one streaming service.
No, I want to buy more shoes for my feet.
Literally, because when you find them, you gotta
get
them. Anyway. So, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization was founded in 1995.
Okay.
It is the only scientific research organization exploring the Bigfoot Sasquatch mystery.
Good for them.
And they do expeditions. So that's the main reason why I wanted to bring them up, is if you wanted to do your own Bigfoot expedition, they do them and
You
only
have to go with them though?
Yeah, it's like a long weekend. You go camping. It's probably fun. It's done in areas with credible sightings. Okay. So they do say, like, you're pretty likely to at least, like, experience something.
Do they hire somebody to wear a Bigfoot suit to walk through the woods?
No, but if they don't, they'd be kind of dumb. So, but they do them, like, everywhere in the States. So there's chances are, wherever you are, you can go do this if you really, really want to have your own Bigfoot experience.
I don't, but it's good to know.
Did you know that the FBI also investigated Bigfoot?
I saw a little bit of that when I was doing some research, but
it's
I didn't
really
look
not
into
that
it.
interesting. I looked into it because I found an article, and I was like, yes, I want to know what fucking the FBI has on Bigfoot.
What did they find?
Honestly, all that happened, and this is a little side note. Before we started, I read the name Peter Byrne, and I had been researching earlier today, and his name came up again, and I was like, where the fuck did I read his name? But it was in this. So Peter Byrne, who I don't even feel like looking up who he is right now. He's really well known in the Bigfoot world, I guess. He sent the FBI some hairs.
Yes.
And they said to him, like, even though we do not generally do investigations that are outside criminal, they're like, for these kinds of things, we do typically make an exception. They did find that the hair he sent them, the FBI is one guy, that they sent them was like deer hair, so it's kind of like not that interesting.
Come on, Peter.
But it's also the FBI, so if it really was Bigfoot, I really don't believe that they would have told us.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think they would have told us?
No.
I don't. They were probably like, it's deer hair, and they were probably like, inside they're like, oh my god,
it's Bigfoot.
We don't know what the fuck this is.
Put it in a special jar in the back of a warehouse.
Yeah. I'm kind of like a flat earther in that way, that like basically anything scientific you throw at me, if I really want to believe something, I'm like, nah, it can't be right. You're just lying.
Nope.
Who trusts the FBI anyway? What do they fucking know? Yeah, so what else? What else?
Okay, so he's super tall. He's hairy.
Oh,
doesn't have a neck.
Big thing about him. This is the last thing for description. I'm sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained because there's just so much.
I'm overwhelmed.
Literally, there's a lot. Okay, there's a lot going into him. That sounded bad. Oh, I have the origin of his name, Bigfoot. That's not that interesting. It's really just basically they found big feet patterns and
someone was very clever with the naming.
Yeah, so they called it Bigfoot. That's really all it was. I would be surprised if you all didn't figure that out on yourself. Sightings. Where's the... Oh, behavior and vocalizations.
Vocalization?
Yes, so, which is important that we establish this now before we read any encounters or anything like that.
I want to know what he sounds like.
Okay, well, before, if you do want to know supposedly what Bigfoot sounds like, there is something that I came across in my research called the Sierra Sounds. Oh. It's about a 5-minute video, which seems like it would be too long, but it is fucking hilarious.
I'm sure.
Because you do hear certain things that I'm going to describe right now, but they respond trying to get them to talk, and the noises that they make. I wrote one down because it was so funny. Where is my thing? It was like, I don't think that's actually what he said, but that's what I wrote down. And but he like literally tries to talk to the Bigfoot, and it like says it back. It's like really weird.
It's like he's in an echo chamber.
No, you can tell they're like outside. Like they the Sierra Sounds have their own thing. I feel like I highlighted something about it somewhere. Forgive me, I don't really know.
Would you want to go on a Bigfoot hunt?
Oh my god, abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh really?
Yes. Oh my, you wouldn't go?
I mean, I'd go if we were in the area. I'm not gonna like plan a vacation.
It's not about planning a vacation. Like it's literally like you could do it in Jersey.
I feel like I would need to like. You'd have to remind me to be like, don't be mean. Just let this happen.
Well, it's the kind of thing that I'm like, worst case scenario is you have a really fun weekend doing something, camping and doing something that you would never realistically be doing on your own.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
we still did ghost hunting too, by the way.
Yes,
I signed up for that lifetime thing.
We have to do that. Oh, I want to do that more. I've been kind of bummed that we didn't get to do another one because of weather and stuff. But yeah, like I would totally do this because then best case scenario is you have a Bigfoot experience.
Which is definitely going to be just Jeff in some Bigfoot robes.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's not the point.
Or a Larry. I think it's a Larry.
It's Larry.
It's totally
definitely Larry.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, in my reading just now, the Fuki monster is from Arkansas. So that's what they call him in Arkansas. So if somebody from Arkansas knows how to say that properly, or
Sarah, I'm shutting that to you.
Yeah, actually, and so like a lot of them. So there's like the wood booger in Virginia. See, this is Momo is from Missouri. Momo the monster. Honey Island swamp monster in Louisiana. Dewey Lake monster in Michigan.
Okay, swamp monsters. I believe in swamp monsters.
Then you believe in Bigfoot. Okay, we answered it. So, alleged behavior.
Tell me everything.
Right. So,
this is really good mead.
I can tell you are having a great time. Some Bigfoot researchers allege that Bigfoot throws rocks as territorial displays and for communication, which I just said...
That's boring.
Well, I just said so do toddlers.
Yeah.
Other alleged behaviors include audible blows struck against trees or wood knocking. That's what that's called.
Death knocks?
Kind of, but not.
Okay.
It could be death knocks if it comes over and rips your ass apart, but but technically no. Further, wood knocking is further alleged to be communicative. Skeptics argue that these behaviors are easily hoaxed, which is true, obviously.
Yeah.
Additionally, structures of broken and twisted foliage seemingly placed in specific areas have been attributed by some to Bigfoot behavior.
So he's artsy?
Kind of.
He likes the crafts?
Yeah, so it's like in some reports...
I think I'm Bigfoot.
You're not. Really not. We should just call this episode the investigation of to whether or not Candace is Bigfoot. In some reports, lodgepole pine and other small trees have been observed bent, uprooted, or stacked in patterns such as weaved and crisscrossed.
Look at them.
Yeah, leading some to theorize that they are potentially territorial markings.
Look at that, making a beautiful little thing for your home.
Yeah, well, or something that you'll love. Some instances have also included entire deer skeletons being suspended high in trees. So
you do what you love.
You do what you love. Yeah, that's the Ted Bundy of the Sasquatch world. But yeah, so they do. People have claimed to have discovered nests.
What does a Bigfoot nest look like?
I don't know.
What do you imagine it would look like?
I would imagine. I mean, they're mammals, so it's not like it's
not a bunch of twigs.
It's
in
not
a circle.
Get, like in a tree.
Yeah.
I would imagine it would be more like what I would think like a crude campsite would look like.
Okay.
Without the fire pit, obviously, because I don't think they.
We don't know.
I imagine they don't, because it's a lot of these are located in the Pacific Northwest and like California. Oh, yeah. Bigfoot's the one burning down California. My bad, y'all. Yeah. So then most alleged sightings are reported at night, so they believe that there's nocturnal tendencies.
I like the nighttime.
Yeah. We're just one step closer. I hope one of you at this point is like keeping a tally of like not Bigfoot and Bigfoot things that Candace does. So maybe we can determine whether or not she actually is one.
I like being near the woods.
I like being near the woods too. That doesn't make me Bigfoot.
We'll see what happens. You could be a Baby-Sass.
I am not a Baby-Sass. So most anecdotal sightings of Bigfoot describe the creatures allegedly observed as solitary, although some reports have described groups being seen together. I actually, and fun fact, I do remember I was watching something. It was like one of those like weird documentaries, and there was like a theory that Bigfoot is actually aliens, and that's why we see it so much. But we can't prove it.
Absolutely not.
You just sobered up faster than anybody on the face of the earth.
I am not. No.
You don't want to talk about that?
No. When we discovered in that episode that you like told me again that Mothman is probably an alien, I got scared. So no.
Did you? Okay, we won't go any further. But that is one of the
What, they're just walking around checking on things?
That is basically the entire theory as to why aliens come here at all.
But why they got big feet? Why are they hairy?
I don't know, they're from another planet, Candace. Maybe they live in a big fucking swamp. I don't know.
No, why are they in our swamps?
Because it's close to home. I don't know.
No.
Are we having an argument about it?
This is our first fight ever.
Our first fight ever is about Bigfoot being an alien. Would you like to hear about their alleged vocalizations?
I absolutely would, yes, thank you.
Which again, go look on YouTube. You can find a clip of the Sierra sounds. It's riveting and hilarious all at the same time.
Riveting.
It is. It's you will change your life. So alleged vocalizations such as howls, screams, moans, grunts, whistles, and even a form of supposed language have been reported.
Huh.
Yes. They've been analyzed by the U.S. Navy cryptologic.
You can do it.
It's a big word. Isn't it?
Sounds word. It out. Syllables.
The cryptologic linguist Scott Nelson. I didn't read that right at all. But some dude from the U.S. Navy who is a linguist specialist, especially in cryptology, has analyzed it.
Is there anything there?
Oh, he's the one who did Sierra sounds.
Okay. This guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Then.
He said it is definitely a language. It is definitely not human in origin, and it could not have been faked.
I could make up a fake language.
Which, when you listen to this, you will disagree with him entirely on. Because, like I said, one of them was basically Oscar.
It sounds like something you'd hear in Star Wars.
Basically, yeah, it's the Ewoks.
Oh, Humphrey. Well, I don't know.
And here we go again.
Okay. Can't turn the necks.
What?
Can't turn the
No, as for hoaxes, a lot of people think have been likely misidentified and produced by known animals such as wolf, coyote, fox, and owls.
There we go.
There it is.
An owl.
Which, to be fair,
I love owls.
I will say this though, because I did listen to the Sierra sounds. How could I not? I know we've already talked. Nothing in there sounds like an owl.
Hoot, hoot.
Yeah, like nothing just goes brr, brr, like, oh, that's a pigeon.
That's a pigeon.
Well, they kind of like they do that sometimes.
What owl do you know does that?
There is an owl that lives in my backyard. When I
What's
take
his name?
out at 3.
What are his favorite berries?
I don't know. I don't see him with a suitcase and a top hat every morning, Candace, on his way to work. I'm going to call him Greg now. Greg the owl.
Gregory.
I will say this. I've never seen him, and now that I've read this, like, what if it is
It's
a Bigfoot?
It's Bigfoot.
And he's just like, he's just
Between
afraid
your
to fall.
house and the school. And he's just like, this is where I live.
That literal 10 feet of woods.
This is what he likes. He doesn't like to be overwhelmed with a giant wooded area.
He likes to be around parks and
How
houses.
do they deal with ticks?
I don't know. They're aliens, Candace.
Stop it.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about with?
I feel like I've been talking.
No, but I mean, like, you have. I mean, you've been having an existential crisis as to whether or not you're Bigfoot is what you've been talking about.
No, I feel like, you've hit on a lot of stuff.
I did.
When I was looking at Bigfoot, the same kind of stuff, like the same descriptions.
Yeah.
I saw like 16 inches for their length for feet. To 24, so that's showing that there's a size difference. It's a pretty big difference for length of a foot.
I mean, but again, based off of regional varieties,
True.
If you're up in the mountains, you're going to need bigger feet, right? That's my theory.
Explain that.
My theory would be like, because if you're in a valley...
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be regional variations, all right? I
want to know why you need bigger feet in a mountain region.
Because you do more climbing. They have to be thicker and bigger.
I would say sometimes it's easier to have a more shorter, narrow foot to climb things.
I mean, yes. But also, like, imagine, like,
long
it gets colder.
Distances are maybe easier with a larger foot.
That is true. I will give you that. Maybe it's the other way around. Okay, fine.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying this is what I feel.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying you're wrong.
The articles that I kind of saw were like, I kind of was away from Wikipedia for Bigfoot. I did find like there were some parks who kind of wrote some fun things about Bigfoot, which I thought were cute.
Me. Yes.
Nothing really that substantial, just like Legend of Bigfoot, and they kind of go through what you described about it's in North America, particularly the Northwest. You can hear tales of the 7-foot-tall hairy men stalking the woods, scaring campers, lumberjacks, hikers, and the like. So he's really not malicious. He's just existing. I mean,
I've heard...
Oh, you've heard the opposite.
No. I mean, like, there are... for the most part, they seem to be pretty... whatchamacallit? Shy and timid. Mm-hmm. But I have seen things, like, where they are willing to get violent.
This is interesting. Other nations tell of a large creature, much like a man, but imbued with special powers and characteristics.
Yeah.
The OG... I'm sorry.
The OG.
The Ojibwe of the Northern Plains believed the Rougarou, which I think is another term for like indigenous word for Bigfoot, appeared in times of danger, and other nations agreed that the hairy apparition was a messenger of warning, telling men to change his ways.
That's interesting, because in Australia, the Yowie, forgive me, I had him later, but I guess we'll touch on this now. They had the indigenous people of Australia, who actually, I believe, originally called him Yahoo.
Okay.
And I think it became Yowie from some dude.
Just some dude.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was the term. Okay, so the origin of the name, forgive me, I didn't mean to kind of steal your thunder here.
No,
the origin of the name Yowie comes from Reverend William Ridley. And oh no, maybe they called him Yowie. Where did I read something about Yahoos. Oh, because there's an original legend from Aboriginal legends of the Yahoo. I don't know where the Yowie, where they eventually started, where the indigenous people started calling him Yowie. But Yowie is a spirit that roams over the earth at night.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they believed that it was like he would show up like in dreams and stuff like that or something.
Oh.
I could be wrong about that. Sorry, let me just read this really quick because I haven't read it in a hot minute.
I think what's fascinating about Bigfoot is that, I mean, you also mentioned a lot of indigenous cultures are telling the story of a very similar to the creature, but you also then get, he's been around for a very long time, which I think is important to note. Like, you kind of mentioned, like, indigenous populations, so it's obviously a lot longer than what we would normally think of.
The Australian people think that the Yowie or, like, the Bigfoot or whatever was the actual, like, original inhabitant of the land. Yeah.
It's I think he's a very interesting cryptid. And I do always love a story that goes across kind of time and location, and that all cultures share it without having to tell the same story to one another.
Yeah, they all have something similar.
And it's, I mean, the appeal of the mythical wild man is how this has like a little caption. And like that, I think is a perfect description of Bigfoot.
A lot of indigenous cultures will describe it as like a wild man or like something like that. And a lot of people, when like the whole like Bigfoot craze started, I think it was like this one guy, I can't remember his name, but he's in one of the articles I printed. He said it was like...
That was like the mid-20th century. Like that's when like the hype
like
became really... 1958
that,
was like, I think when they said that became very popular.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought it was because it was like a lot of people were searching for the missing link between apes and people. So this was like kind of...
Was it Ray Wallace? Ray Wallace,
No.
I think, was the one who did the prank. And he revealed in 2012 that he like did this Bigfoot sighting and the whole thing was a joke. And he told it on his deathbed.
Yeah, which, I mean, he did that, actually, I think he did that in the same place that the name for Bigfoot came from. The, like, lumber place or whatever in...
Was it Bluff Creek?
Might have been Bluff Creek.
Because they were saying that by the point, more important evidence that entered into the Bigfoot file in 1967, Roger Patterson and Rob Gimlin filmed a few seconds of a hairy creature walking on two lakes at the same
That's the
Bluff
big one.
Creek.
Yeah.
The most famous and contested piece of Bigfoot evidence to this day. So 1967 is still our most popular sighting of a Bigfoot.
Well, yes.
No?
That's the big thing that kind of started it, because it's the first, like, video
The first
evidence.
major video evidence.
Have you ever seen that video?
Yeah.
It's just under a minute long.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really creepy. My favorite thing is that he walks like the Grinch. The Jim Carrey Grinch.
I love the Jim Carrey Grinch so much.
He looks so over his shit in that video. That was not the one, though, that I was thinking of. It was a different one. So that's not the...
I really like this sentence from this article. It says, "Still, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence either."
I mean, I agree with that.
Like, wild animals don't exactly mug for photos, and the planet's ever-shrinking forests still regularly unpack surprises.
Yeah, that's true. And there are a lot of places that are still forest covered that we don't really venture to, that somewhere like a Bigfoot probably could survive. You know, like when you talk about getting into like northern Canada, that is all woods. And like, if you're a big hairy guy, you can probably live in there.
So they said some people see these crypto-humanoids as symbols of pure freedom, living by instinct and foiling over every effort to pin them down. To search for Bigfoot in the forest is to taste that freedom. On the trail, you become extra attuned to nature, the smell of scat, the sounds of breaking branches, the curious impressions in the dirt. As long as there are wild places in America, Bigfoot remains a possibility that to its most ardent proponents cannot be disproved. Which I think is kind of a romantic look at Bigfoot.
Yeah, I think, because my thing is, it's like, to me, it's almost like when you talk about Bigfoot, the hard thing about Bigfoot is that I feel like you need evidence one way or another. You know, either he's real and this is the hard evidence, or he's not and here's the hard evidence. But I don't know that either side has realistically done that. You know what I mean?
This is my first real venture into the world of Bigfoot. I was not that child who loved Bigfoot.
You never watched Harry and the Hendersons?
I was not a Harry and the Hendersons type. I felt like I had my own Bigfoot story going on.
You were too busy being your own Bigfoot.
Big on Bigfoot. But I'm in seeing this now and thinking, I love how cultures, and you were saying that earlier, kind of have these similar tales and legends through their own mythos, and I think that's a very fascinating thing.
But it also lends credence to the believability of it. You know, because if you do look at cultures, especially when you look at like religion, like a lot of organized religions are very different.
But also similar too.
I mean, they are, but like in terms of like if you go with like Christianity versus like Hinduism, Hinduism is like a polygod situation versus Christianity, which is mono. And in Christianity, God, like you have like more of like a human figure, whereas like when you look at like Hinduism, it's mostly like gods who are like very
they are still humanoid though.
They're humanoid, but it's not like the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have that difference in culture, but then like you'll have something like Bigfoot, which every culture around the world has like a name for, and it's described very similarly. You know what I mean?
I think it's interesting when you think of events too, what is consistent. Like I mentioned the flood earlier. I think that was something like I took a Hebrew Bible class in college.
Really?
Which I loved. I think
sounds interesting.
It was one of the most impactful classes I think I've ever had in college. Really? Besides, I mean, I love art history. Obviously, it's my jam.
Yeah.
But it was from a non-art class. It stuck with me so much because they were talking about the realism of what happened in the Old Testament to see if it was plausible, and with the Exodus of Egypt, could it have actually happened? Because they were extremely good at note taking.
Yeah.
And how there was no extreme massacres of the Jewish population from Egypt at that time period.
Especially, have you ever seen that meme? not to dumb down what we're talking about, but it's because obviously like the original, how long was the Exodus from Egypt to
like how long it took them? Or
yeah, like in the Bible, I can't remember. Was it like
an insane number of years? I'm not remembering.
I want to say it was like 40 years or something, right?
Something. I think it could have been 40.
Somebody like Google Maps it and like put on like the walk version, and it was like 3 days. It was like something like they were like these people were really lost. It was just funny.
Oh yeah, no, like and like we were looking at maps as well in the class to see like the path they would have taken.
Yeah.
And
double backed a lot.
But like they were saying like it was not to say that there was never an exodus.
Yeah.
But it could have been a much smaller population than what the Bible was describing.
And it might not also have been like, even though they were traveling, like they might not have had like any idea of like where they wanted to go. So they could have just realistically been like, we're desert people now.
Or like searching. I mean, this class was so many years ago. When I mentioned to my students today how long I took my first semester of class, I took like an 8 a.m. history of fairy tales class.
I would have loved that.
It was the best idea for a class, but it was 8 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
But like I remember it was the building right next to my dorm room.
Oh, okay.
Building.
That's
so
not
like, I just like had to roll out of bed and show up in class
through the window and into the other one.
But we're doing a future exhibit this summer on folklore and fairy tales.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And we're going to like urban legends as well. So actually this podcast has greatly inspired our summer exhibit.
Go to Drew and go
to Drew and see our future exhibit. My students are curating it. And I was like, I don't remember enough to tell you kind of like the background of like what we should be looking at for our bibliography. I need you to kind of do your own research.
Okay.
And so for this Hebrew scholarship, it's like I was so intrigued by this belief in like combining like all these people's stories and what actually could have possibly happened.
Yeah.
There could have been a small exodus, But then the mythos made it into a much larger story.
Probably.
Which the Bible does, for the purpose of education. And that's what happened. But, like, for all these cultures to share that Bigfoot story or, like, not called Bigfoot, but I'm using that term of, like, the humanoid, crypto-human creature.
It's like, and it was like I was saying before, like, with the pyramids, like, you can find, like, this very specific type of structure that goes across multiple cultures who had no connection.
Yeah, they kind of, like, go up with stone, but they are different in how they form.
But it's more like the fact that it starts with a large, wide base that goes up into, like, a small, and it's, like, always, like, a significant symbolic building.
I wonder if it's because of don't quote me at all, I wonder if it's something to do with the sun, because I know there's a lot of...
Yeah.
Like, going up towards a point, which is going towards the sky, like the sun or the moon.
And a lot of those did use, like, as a specific, like...
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of faith to them, the sky.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. To me, it's fascinating in the sense that they had the same kind of, like, without talking to each other, the same kind of idea that funneled itself into a very similar thing that then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like they got to the same place.
But we know pyramids are real.
Pyramids are real.
So do we then know that Bigfoot is real? Should we do some encounters?
Tell me some encounters.
Because we are an hour in and people are probably like, I want an encounter.
I want an encounter, and then I mean, we don't have to talk about the Wendigo.
I think we still can. Because, I mean, realistically, at this point, we've talked about the Yowie a little bit. But it's just Australian Bigfoot. And the same with, like, the Yeti. I mean, we could really quickly, the abominable snowman.
I would love to know a little bit more about the Yeti, because all I know is that I've been on that ride in Disney World, where then you go backwards.
All right, let's do the Yeti really quick, and then we'll end with the encounters, because I feel like that's
and then we can do the Wendigo.
And we can also do Wendigo still. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. So the Yeti is realistically not that different than anything that we've already talked about.
Tall, big feet.
Yes.
Does not have a neck.
He does have a neck. The only difference is that he is generally covered with brown, gray, or white hair, since he lives in the snowy
I like
place.
the white.
Yeah.
Fur. It's like he blends in, like you just said.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And he is often sometimes depicted as having large, sharp teeth.
Is his skin blue?
I don't know.
I feel like all the depictions I've seen of a Yeti, it's like a bluish tinged skin with white fur.
It's because they call him the abominable snowman.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking of the claymation.
Well, it's just more that, like, it's probably like he's like icy, like
he's cold. He needs a sweater for his cheeks.
Did you know there are 3 main varieties of Yeti? Mm-mm. I did not either. Tibetan lore describes 3 main varieties of Yetis. Here we go. I'm not going to say any of these right, so please forgive me. The Nyalmo, which has black fur, and it's the largest and fiercest, standing around 15 feet tall.
So fierce.
Yes.
Okay.
So probably just, like, the most likely to, like
fuck you up.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you talk about bears. Like, black bears are generally considered to be, like, the...
Okay, but the Bigfoot, not prone to fuck you up.
Well, but that's because, like, if you, like, there's, like, that saying, like, if you're going to go hiking, so, if it's brown, lie down. If it's black, attack, which sounds bad. Because they're scared. They'll run. Black bears will scare.
Oh, okay.
Brown bears, you should play dead because you're more likely to survive. And they're like, if it's white, good night, because you don't stand a chance and it's not going to...
Oh, because the polar bears are... Mm-mm.
Yeah, polar bears will fuck you up.
Yeah.
So, the Nyalmo, which has black fur and is the largest and fiercest, standing around 15 feet tall. The Chuti, which stands around 8 feet tall and lives 8,000 to 10,000 feet above sea level.
What?
And then the Rangshim Bombo, which has reddish-brown fur and is only 3 to 5 feet tall. They're little...
It's a Baby-Sass!
Yeah, it's a Baby-Sass. And they have a cute name, like the Rangshim Bombo. Like, who doesn't want one? I want one.
I feel like that's in Star Wars.
Right?
I mean, okay. I love Chewbacca. And I love an Ewok.
Do you?
I think Chewbacca is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. Obsessed with him. I also love an Ewok. Just saying.
I wish you had watched the Boba Fett Star Wars thing now, because I can't make this joke that I want to make because you haven't seen it. But if you have out there, you've watched it, it was going to be an Amy Sedaris joke, and you'll understand where I'm going with that.
I mean, I watched The Mandalorian.
I mean, it's her character, but it's a specific joke from the Boba Fett series. Then obviously the Russian version, which is the Chichunya, Chechnya, I don't know how to say that.
Okay.
Which is in Siberia. Is described as 6 feet tall and covered with dark hair.
That's not that enormous in comparison to the other ones.
It's not. It's really not. Although it is said to occasionally consume human flesh.
Well, you gotta eat.
Yeah, so, that's a little bit of an outlier on our. But do you want to know where the abominable snowman name comes from?
Yes.
So the name abominable snowman was coined in 1921, the year Lieutenant Colonel Charles Howard. Oh my God, this is a very easy word. Berry. And I couldn't remember how to say it.
Like Berry?
No, Bury.
Okay.
Like Berry.
Like Berry.
Yeah, but like my brain was like, does not compute. Just keep going.
Berry. You got all these other ones, but you couldn't get Berry.
Like literally said Nialmo, but I could not say Berry. So Charles Howard Berry led the 1921 British Mount Everest reconnaissance expedition, which he chronicled in Mount Everest, the Reconnaissance, 1921.
Very good for him.
That was such a like high school written essay,
Yes.
like to create words line. But basically, he goes on about seeing a big footprint in the sand on Mount Everest, the snow.
There's sand on Everest.
Right. That's global warming. But he adds, this is the part I highlighted, that his Sherpa guides volunteered that the treks must have been made by the wild man of the snows, to which they gave the name Mito Kengmi.
Okay.
And Mito translates as man bear, and Kengmi translates as snowman. So that's, and then he kind of, he kind of like bastardizes it or something in his book or something, because it like doesn't realistically then translate back.
Of course, yeah.
But he does eventually essentially term the abominable snowman, and that's how it came to be a thing. So yeah, it is obviously that's the Yeti.
The snow, like living in snow, humanoid or whatever is much more terrifying than I feel like in a lot of North American spots in the woods, that it's like the climate is much more reasonable.
Well, it's also like, I feel like if I ran into a Bigfoot in the woods, it's probably well fed.
You would shit your pants though.
I mean, obviously,
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like one in the woods isn't gonna fuck with me, but like
one in the snow?
Yeah, like in a winter, literally in like a winter tundra where food is scarce, there's nowhere to hide. Like you can't hide. Yeah, that motherfucker gonna kill me.
Yeah, there's no way.
Absolutely. But that's really the only big thing. Like that's why it was kind of disappointing that I kind of
you wasted all the paper.
Yeah, literally just all this paper.
You used all your new black ink today.
Literally all of it. I have to get more. It's ridiculous. But like again, it's also the kind of thing like I do recommend if you have any interest in this topic, you should go read even just like the Wikipedia stuff. It's really actually kind of interesting.
I mean, I'm a person who came into this topic being like, I know nothing about Bigfoot. I just know that I've seen, popular culture bastardizations of the story.
That is true.
And there is, though, like a very intriguing history there. And I think especially when it's connected to indigenous cultures, I think there's something really there. And I don't know if I I'm a Bigfoot believer now. But
you are one, so you should be.
I should be. But I don't believe in myself, Rob.
You don't believe? Oh, you made it sad. You made it sad.
But yeah, I think it's a very interesting look into kind of like these crypto humans sounds like a money thing.
Right, crypto humans. That's the next step of cryptocurrency humans.
But it's definitely very interesting. And I'm glad we talked about it today, because
me too.
It's been fun.
Sorry, I was...
You were going through your massive amount of paper.
I was, but I was also listening to what you were saying.
I appreciate it.
I just wanted to make sure there was nothing else that I felt like I was leaving out that I wanted to talk about.
You said you had more encounters, right?
I do. I have 2 really, like, good ones, and then I have some, like I highlighted, because it turns out I went looking for encounters and then read, like, the Wikipedia things.
Okay.
And there's, like, literally encounters in the Wikipedia pages, and I was like, I'm an asshole.
Rob.
But they're not great ones, so I'm glad I went and found, like, cool ones. But, like, the one that I actually wanted to highlight is from the Bigfoot Wikipedia only because it made me laugh. I didn't know this came out. So if you want to watch a documentary that came out on Hulu in 2021.
I love documentaries.
Yeah, it's called Sasquatch. So it's pretty easy
Baby-Sass?
to find. Yeah. But this encounter is from that, and it made me... The reason why I wanted to read it is because I immediately started reading it, and I was like, this is hilarious. So the 2021 Hulu documentary series Sasquatch describes marijuana farmers telling stories of Bigfoots harassing and killing people within the Emerald Triangle region in the 1970s through the 1990s.
That's a very different Baby-Sass than I was told.
Yes. But, like, that part's not what made me laugh. What made me laugh is just mostly the fact that it's marijuana farmers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're probably high as fucking
They're probably high
shit.
as fucking. They're just like, this is a giant bear who spoke to me in a language that I did not understand. A roar.
Yeah. A roar.
A
Yes.
roar.
But that was just the one I wanted to... There's a really famous one where, like, it's been deemed a hoax. It's from 1924. It's referred to as the Battle of Ape Canyon.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's miners were attacked by large hairy ape men that threw rocks onto their cabin roof from a nearby cliff after one of the miners allegedly shot one with a rifle. And it was in Fouke, Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Which is where that came from. I'm too stupid to realize that. In 1971, a family reported that a large hair-covered creature startled a woman after reaching through a window. So, that's kind of like... That was why I was kind of glad I ended up looking up the encounters anyway, because most of them are like that in those pages. I do have... Did you want to talk about the Wendigo first, though?
We don't have to.
I'll leave it up to you.
No, tell me more about these encounters.
Okay. Do you have any encounters that you took down?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Well, then we have two then, kids. I'm going to save the second one is a Yowie encounter that I found that is fucking scary, but also hilarious. The first one I found is scary, in my opinion.
Really?
Yes, and it happened in Sussex County in 2015, New Jersey.
No. Why do you do this to me?
Because it's the best when it's close to home.
No, I don't.
So this is a little bit of a long one, but I promise it's a good one.
Okay.
So I'm just going to read it because it gives all the details. So, like I said, this was submitted, and this came from the big thing that links it all back together.
Wikipedia!
Yeah, not Wikipedia. This came from the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization website because they have an encounter section.
And this is the one you want to do.
Well, yeah, yes. And the main reason I pulled this one is because a lot of them, it's like, we saw something weird down by the river.
And it was just me in my bear suit.
Yeah, literally. And it's like, I could give a shit. But this one was like...
I don't care about Candace with bear suit.
It was just Candace having an existential crisis like Henry David Thoreau or whatever his name is down at Walden Pond about whether or not she's a Bigfoot. But this
just
one...
imagine me like in the Watchdog Reservation.
Just sitting by like,
Near,
everybody's like, what is that?
Am I a Bigfoot?
It's like in Arrested Development and he's like, I'm
I'm a monster!
All these, there was, ironically, there were none in Union County. There was no encounter stories
So
in
it's
Union
not
County.
me?
It's, I guess nobody's seen you yet.
Okay.
You gotta go hiking more. How funny would it be if you like went hiking, fell in some mud, got like covered, like, and like somebody was like, "It's a Bigfoot," and you're like, "No!"
I do have like a fake fur black coat, which I'm just like, I think I need to like wear this.
Yes.
Just not
And just
turn
walk
my
around
neck.
barefoot through the mud. Let's see what people say.
Okay, next weekend when I get back.
Next weekend. I'm glad. I love that you planned it so quickly.
When I get back from England.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or you could just start a whole
Maybe
new...
I am the Bigfoot of England.
You should do that. You should absolutely start a prank in England because then you come back and you never, like, nobody will ever know.
Again.
It's perfect.
North Yorkshire, watch out.
Yeah. See a Bigfoot next week. It's just Candace. All right. So this was from June 23rd, 2015 in Sussex County, New Jersey.
We were alive then.
We were alive. Yes. Yes, we were good. Yes, Candace. All right. So my brother and I camped overnight in High Point State Park, New Jersey the other night. That's such a weird sentence. This is written by a regular person, so forgive me if it reads weird. Driving around the park, the camping sites were labeled with numbers. We wanted to set up in a place as far away as we could from the other people. I, myself, have known the existence of Sasquatch to be real for quite some time. This is how this reads. Not from a personal experience, which was yet to come, but because of watching so many people tell their stories of encounters and just seeing the genuine fright and truthfulness in their eyes when they tell their stories.
Okay.
Right? This person knows Candace. My brother, however, always laughed at the subject of Bigfoot and was a complete skeptic. So my brother and I have set up... Sorry, they put I has set up. So my brother and I have set up camp on the edge of what I'm assuming was the only lake in the park.
They did no research.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally wrote the sentence, my brother and I has set up camp.
I has set camp.
Exactly. So, whatever. We walked through the forest in the daytime and indeed found many peculiar structures and tree breaks, which is important to note because we talked about the different things
Yes.
that I have seen before on Bigfoot TV shows. As night fell, we made a fire and watched the numerous stars reveal themselves as the night got darker. Around midnight, I went over to a rock right by the edge of the lake and looked up at the stars, while my brother tended the fire. I'm an astronomy fan, so before I knew it, I was sitting there for 2 hours when I checked my phone and it said it was nearly 2 a.m.
Girl.
That's the part that got you? Well, what?
I don't know.
Just wanted to throw a girl in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Just then, my phone ran out of battery. While sitting on the rock, I began to feel a weird sensation that someone or something was watching me. I checked to see if it was my brother, but he was staring into the fire. I dismissed this feeling and told myself I had just brought it on myself. I looked back up at the stars and got lost in some train of thought when all of a sudden something made a very loud noise that could only be described as a very large man exhaling aggressively towards me.
I don't like that sentence.
What?
Exhaling aggressively.
Well, like, have you ever heard, like, a dog or, like, a deer
I've
give,
heard
like,
dogs.
well, but, like, is that what I was going to say?
It's Potato going,
Well, like, no, because, like, Rolf, when he sees, like, a new person that he doesn't like, he'll do this weird, like,
oh,
like,
yeah.
sound.
Aki does that when he's
yeah,
pissed off.
So, yeah. Oh, duh. Okay, never mind.
You know Acheron
that's
needs
true.
to be given a high level of attendance.
Yes.
Pay tribute to the bear.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the kind of sound he was talking
You gotta
about.
pay tribute
Yeah.
to Baby-Sass.
Yes, that's what... This is all about tribute.
Yeah.
It's not even about anything else. So I jumped up and ran to my brother, and we heard the thing walk towards the forest, all the while breaking branches and continuing to make the same aggressive noise I heard so close to me.
It's a bear.
You think so?
It's so far.
Okay. It got quiet, and my brother and I were standing looking in the direction where all the noise had come from when it made the noise again. Now, I don't speak Sasquatch, but that thing...
do, though.
But that thing was telling us to get the heck out of there. I don't get scared easily at all, and I was shaking like I had never before. I felt so much negative energy and decided I was too scared to stay outside, so we went to the car and sat inside, praying whatever made that noise didn't come back. My brother described the sound as sounding like someone ripping a tent, which is very different than a loud exhaling sound, but...
Yes.
Whatever the noise was, absolutely no common animal could have made it. Candace, ever the skeptic.
To quote Potato.
Yeah. After a sleepless night, when it got light out again around 5:30, we built up the courage to go back where we heard the noise to see if there was any indications of what made it. And when we got there, I was shocked. There was a makeshift bed made from giant leaves that was fit for a very large creature.
Bullshit.
I'm just reading the story. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It's like hard to... I don't know.
Sure.
I could see the exact spot where the thing had made the noise... I'm sorry. Where the thing that had made the noise was watching me. And where it walked away, as there was a clear path of flattened grass and plants leading up the forest. The area was wet and muddy, and indeed there were footprints. But as I was taking pictures, the path leading from the bed to the upper forest, it happened again. The thing made the same exact noise. This time it was so close I nearly fell. We ran back to our campsite and listened, but nothing made a sound. We stayed there for about 30 minutes until I decided to go back and see if there were fresh prints or anything I could take back as proof. I took more pictures, and I was standing on the trail leading back to our campsite looking at the pictures I had taken when again the thing made the same noise. This time it was on the side of me that I would have to run past it to get back to the campsite. As soon as I heard it, it felt like my heart literally dropped and my legs became wobbly. But I summed up my courage and once again ran back to the campsite in fear. It was only about 10 seconds away, and when I got there, my brother was standing there wide-eyed asking if I heard the noise. Whatever it was not happy, and we heard it walk up into the forest, breaking branches and exhaling aggressively as it headed deeper into the forest. At this point, my brother wanted to get the heck out of there, but I needed to see it. I went up to the road right before the forest where we had heard it go in and looked around, but saw nothing. I was so confused on how the heck it ever got so close to me without me seeing or hearing it walk at all. While I was walking on the road, I saw my brother walk up from the campsite looking around. When he spotted me, he sighed in relief and told me though I was getting attacked because he heard a bunch of what the fuck is this sentence? When he spotted me, he sighed in relief and told me he thought I was getting attacked. Sorry, there was a missing letter. Because he heard a bunch of human-like screams coming from the forest. I walked towards where he was and started to hear them too, but by the time I reached him, the screams started to sound like some kind of weird chatter. My brother, the skeptic...
Chipmunk?
Yes, they just heard a very loud chipmunk. My brother, the skeptic, was so scared he told me we're packing up and leaving right away. I have no doubt in my mind that we just happened to pick a campsite right next to where a Sasquatch was sleeping, and he was just not happy about that. I know what we heard was a Sasquatch. My brother entered a skeptic, but left a full believer in Bigfoot.
Okay, complete bullshit.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just like the way that they wrote that story, it just felt like too simple.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought there were some interesting things that I feel like didn't fit like a normal pattern of what you would like consider like a hoax. Like in the sense that like normally with Bigfoot, they see it once and they see it at night. Whereas in this case, it was like, I feel like the way it was described, it seemed like something that was like defensive and trying to like get a predator to leave leave it alone.
That was, I think, a unique take on a Bigfoot sighting or a Sasquatch sighting, but I don't buy it. I think they were just like, okay, you know what animals do? They're territorial. So
that's true, but I mean, like, if
craft
you were
a territorial story.
That's true, but I mean, like, with a bear, like a black bear wouldn't do that. Like,
no, but I think they made the whole thing up.
You do?
Yeah.
Because like I've seen, like, especially like when we were in like Yellowstone and stuff, we saw like a lot of black bears, and black bears really like at one point it was really cute. We actually saw a black bear cub. It was by itself. It was really cute. And a whole bunch, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like these big like reindeer looking type things.
Deer.
Well, yes. But they have a specific name. They like deer. It was funny because all these people had stopped their cars and were like taking photos and everything, and he was just kind of doing his thing. But then these deer ran by, and it was like on like the side of like
were
a
there
real...
photos?
What?
Were there photos of the story?
There were photos, and the photos had been attached, but I think at some point were lost because when I went to look at the photos, it was just like that little white box with the little blue box and with the question mark. But like black bears, they hide and then they run. They don't make like a noise like that. And we don't have like a lot of brown bear.
No.
That would be more aggressive. You know, and like to be fair, like we don't have like a lot of other big animals in the area.
I think it was just the way that they told the story with the attention to 2 hours passed and I was still looking at the stars and my phone died. It's like it was so much was like perfectly happenstance.
But I mean, it's not like it has to be at 2 a.m.
No, I'm not saying it has to be at 2 a.m., but I'm saying like that, like they told, like I was watching this for like, 2 hours. My brother was just staring into the fire and they didn't notice it. And then, oh my God, I couldn't, take a photo at the moment because my phone died because it was like doing something else. I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, it was more like, just like, I think he was sitting on a rock kind of staring at the stars.
Yeah,
which,
for hours. Which, I mean, I like the stars.
Maybe he had some stuff he didn't
He
want
could
to
have
write
had
about.
some extra special green stuff.
Yeah, maybe he had a special brownie with some special vitamins,
Yeah.
like TH and C in it. You know,
And he was maybe not sharing with the Squatch.
yeah. Which, because to be fair, if I was trying to convince people I saw Bigfoot, I would not tell them I was high as shit when it happened.
It's just there were too many holes in the story that.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I mean, I believe you. I mean,
I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I just.
I like to believe. That's my
I know.
problem.
I know.
Yeah.
But like it's an owl.
I think skepticism is healthy.
I think it's an owl.
You think it was? It was just a very large owl.
Very big owl.
That, or you imagine the whole thing.
Oh my god! Can you imagine like an 8 feet tall owl?
No, that would be scarier than Bigfoot.
Very scary. I'm just thinking about it.
That would be that should be your outro. It would be very, very scary. That's all.
That's all. Bye bye.
Do you want to hear the funny Yowie story?
I do.
Okay, so I got this. I feel like I have to at least credit where I got it from. It's coasttocoastam.com.
Okay.
So, and this is a short one, but it's funny. An Australian woman claims to have had a terrifying encounter with the Bigfoot of Down Under, the Yowie.
Nice.
The harrowing experience reportedly occurred back in March, but was picked up by Australian media this week. According to the unnamed woman, she was driving along a barren dirt road in the middle of the night when she made an impromptu pit stop near a large clearing. After a few moments outside of her car, the woman heard something rustling in the brush around her, and so she let out a howl to see if it might be a dog.
Obviously, you should do this.
That would be my first thing to do.
Let me pull over and howl.
I'd be like, what the fuck was that? Get back in the fucking car. But, to see if it might be a dog. The creature responded with a similar noise.
Okay.
Followed by a growl and some grunting.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. And as to our prior reading, we have learned that they do typically make sounds like this as a defensive type thing. Sensing that danger may be afoot, the quick-thinking woman pulled out a cricket bat that she had.
Of course.
Presumably brought with her for just such a scenario.
You have to be prepared.
Exactly. Now, here's something interesting. She then knocked on a nearby tree as a way of warning whatever the mysterious noisemaker...
Death knocks.
Well, I was going to say wood knocking. was that she had a weapon. To her surprise, she heard the sound repeated out in the darkness.
Nope. I don't like that.
Which led to a brief exchange of knocks between the woman and the unseen thing.
Nope.
But I think that that's really an interesting thing, given the wood knocking.
But I'm saying I would be very scared.
Oh, I would be in my car driving away.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm going to fucking die.
No.
I'm gonna
When
fucking
you
die
get
right
to
now.
that level of communication,
yeah.
absolutely
Well, because
not.
now you're talking to something that is like
Imitating.
cognitively, like not too far off.
Nope, don't like it.
Because like a fox doesn't do that.
Have you met a really smart fox?
No, because they don't knock on trees at me.
I'm going to find a fox and introduce you.
Oh, thank you. We actually have one that lives in my backyard.
Oh,
it's really
what's
cute.
What's his name?
We didn't name it.
Why?
We didn't.
It's obviously Larry.
It's Larry. He has a day job of being Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So to her surprise, she hears it back. By this point, she was thoroughly fed up with the situation, which I think is hilarious. It's the middle of the night. You're by yourself.
You're like, I'm done.
In the woods. And you're like, I have had enough of this horse shit.
Yeah. I have to watch my stories.
Literally. So she began howling and screaming to scare the interloper away.
She is an interesting bird.
This is my favorite thing. This is a direct quote from her. She was like, that's when everything went pear-shaped.
Love her.
Yeah. She said as suddenly she could hear something very large rumbling down a hill towards her.
That's not good.
Yeah. What have I got myself into, she recalled thinking, and noted that I had really bad vibes. Oh my God.
I got bad vibes.
Bad vibes.
Bad vibes.
I got really bad vibes. You guys are getting a full-on Fabuland moment from me.
Full-on vibes.
I had really bad vibes from this thing. Which, any kind of huge fucking thing barreling through the woods at me generally doesn't make me feel like I'm in a safe situation.
Just bad vibes.
Yeah. She smartly made a mad dash for her car and made it to the safety Oh, this is a weird sentence. Made it to the safety of her vehicle is what it is. Where she turned on the high beams and was stunned by what she saw. It was a 7 to 8 foot tall, hairy, bipedal beast with eyes that looked to be about the size of golf balls.
Were they glowing?
No, not according to this. Perhaps most off-putting about the creature was that it smelled like 5-week-old roadkill.
This was just Jeff.
Yeah, it was Jeff. Jeff the Bigfoot. The apparent Yowie encounter soon came to an end as the creature, standing a few feet away from the car, became frightened when the woman pulled out her cell phone and took a picture.
Oh, because they don't like the cellular devices.
I think the flash went off.
No, it's the cellular devices.
it's the 5G. They can't.
They don't like the 5G.
They're like, I'm not fucking with 5G.
No, they want to stay with only 4G and a flip phone if they like.
Yeah. So she said, I didn't get a chance for a photo, she lamented. As I went for the button, off she went down the hill. So she didn't. Of course she
didn't.
I mean, to be fair, like, my first...
I first would obviously run. Then I would take a photo if I can.
I mean, like, and normally, like, I want to be like, oh, of course you didn't get a photo, but think about how many times your dog has done something cute and you grab the phone and they immediately move.
No, I know, that's true. And, like, that article that I read, that bit, saying, like, how even, like, a wild fox is not going to pose for a mugshot, right? And, like, that's true. And, like you said, like, our dogs, mine are not very well trained. But
mine aren't either, it's fine.
They won't pose for something.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
So, no, I totally understand that. But it's just, when you're talking about something that is more mythos than your common house dog, you want some proof.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I did read an article, I didn't print this one out, of this woman, and I want to say it was, like, near Quebec or something, who supposedly has, like, video of an encounter that her and her sister had with a Bigfoot.
It's just them in the woods together?
No, they were just out, like, picking berries or something.
Berry? You said berry.
Yeah, I this time, well, because I know what it was.
Okay.
I did it, guys. But she said she had video, but she didn't want to share it because she said it would scare the children.
This is bullshit.
See, but the thing is, the only reason why, like, I'm, like, even willing to give her some credit is that she, when she described it, she said, like, it could run, crawl, and jump really quickly. So I'm imagining, like, an 8-foot tall Bigfoot, like, on its, like, on all fours, like, running.
I would love to see this.
Oh, I would too. It'd be scary as shit, but I would rather see it. I agree with you.
Just don't show it to the children.
Academics only.
Scholarly journals.
But yeah. Those are I liked those because I liked that they were longer because most of the encounters are like I saw it on the side of the road in a ditch.
It was hairy.
Yeah, like exactly.
Had a lot of scat.
I saw a lot of scat on the road, so I thought it was a bear, but no.
It was obviously Bigfoot.
It was clearly Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
I always go back to I would love to hear Donald Trump describe any of these.
No.
Could you imagine if he had a
Bigfoot? Anything.
Imagine if he had a Bigfoot story, though. How fucking funny would they be?
It'd be big. It'd be huge.
Biggest Bigfoot I've ever seen. Ever seen by anyone. Biggest feet on anything I've ever seen. And I did marry Melania. Like, but like,
we learned a lot today.
We did. So I guess my end question.
Go for it.
This is the one thing.
Because I think we should save Wendigos for another day.
Sure. I'm sorry that we didn't get to
I
them.
think, you know what? After hearing these stories, I think they are much more different than I originally grouped them together into. So I'd rather save them for another forest cryptid.
Okay. I mean, I like that, especially because Wendigos are fun. They're cool.
They're terrifying.
Yeah,
too.
And they deserve their like.
They
time.
deserve their time in the sun or the moon.
Or the moonshine. So then the question I had for you is, obviously, like, and we've kind of touched upon this a little bit as we've been doing this, is obviously there is a lot of contention as to whether or not this is real or not.
Sure.
Why do you think people are so keen to either believe or not believe in things like Bigfoot, Mothman, like those kinds of cryptids?
So we're grouping like Mothman with Bigfoot?
Well, like in terms of like cryptids, because like it's realistically like it's cryptids, like the Loch Ness Monster. You meet people who are very strong, like it is not real, and you meet people who are like, no, I've seen it, it's real.
I don't know.
What I mean?
So like for me, I would not group them in the same category because Like, even as we're
Really?
going through our cryptid. I was a crap.
I got bad news for you. According to Wikipedia, it's a cryptid.
I'm saying no. He's a cryptid, but I'm saying, like, if we were to then, like, type out the different types of cryptids that we've been talking about. So, like, we've done, like, Mothman was a type of herald of death that we've kind of discussed, and was possibly related to aliens. Then there's, like, Bigfoot, which I'm thinking of, like, more of this kind of, like, story that's been around for a very long time with indigenous populations, and it has this bipedal, more ape-like looking creature.
Yeah.
It's like they're cut from very different cloths. And then, like, if you have, like, the Loch Ness Monster, which is, like, more, waterborne, more maybe related to dinosaurs.
I mean, but my question essentially is,
sorry,
like...
I'm overthinking it.
No, you're good. It's just, I just mean, like, in terms of, like, because, like, realistically, like, when you talk to people, you meet people...
I don't talk to people.
Well, when you read about people...
Yeah.
Like, you will meet people who are like, no, Bigfoot is real. I've seen it. We have stories. Like, blah, blah. And you will also meet people who are like, it's not fucking real. Those people are dumb. Yeah. Like, but like, my question, I guess, then is like, why do you think that, especially in something that, like, realistically we should be able to prove is real, why do you think people choose to believe that it's real despite the overwhelming evidence?
That
and
it's
lack,
not.
that or that realistically it probably isn't, because we realistically can't say it's not.
I think in that vein, I would say that it's because it's part of a mythos, and I'm returning to that word because
it's your favorite word tonight.
It's a favorite word tonight. I'm taking from the last
word of the day
2 weeks ago with the serial killers.
Yeah,
and
that one guy
who just kept saying the word mythos.
You're him now.
I know,
which is funny because I was thinking that before, but I didn't want to say it.
No, it's fine. I have now him. I know him. But it's because of these, like, these legends, right? I'll use a different word.
Yeah.
But I think it's just it's nice to believe in something that is almost out of our reality.
Okay.
And then it kind of, like, let's say you're not religious, but then you believe in these stories and you believe in these cryptids, no matter what they are, if they're by forest walker, alien, or aliens, not cryptids, but I mean, like,
they can be, they kind of fall in there, yeah.
Like, if you believe in this, there's something else out there that is not just humans going about their 9 to 5s and going to bed every night and starting the day over the next day the same way. So I think there's something almost romantic about believing in something that is out of our normal context. I
would agree with that, yeah. And
it's a nice thing. I don't know if I believe in every type of cryptid. I mean, personally, I love a herald of death because it's macabre, it's dark, it's kind of fun to think about that there's something out there that's like, something bad's gonna happen and I'm gonna show up. Yeah. But with the Bigfoot stories, I just don't know yet. Like, I don't think I believe in Bigfoot. I don't feel I agree with any of the evidence that we discussed tonight.
That's fair.
That I feel like there would have been something that would have shown up in, like, a museum. It's not like it's, like, in the middle of the ocean that we have not been able to get to.
That's fair. That's very fair.
These are forests that have been walked through, discovered, and, overpopulated. Why are we not having any clear evidence?
I think that's, like, kind of the big question, realistically, like, in terms of, like, is Bigfoot real?
But for, like, like with the Loch Ness Monster, they also talk about, it's like, they've gone through that lake. I've been in that lake.
Drain the loch.
It's like, I've been there. It's a very cool, and you feel almost like there's something there because of the stories. I feel like are just surrounding you.
Want to believe that that you're going to catch a glimpse.
And the water is very dark there, so you kind of, like, you're like, oh, what if it's under there? And
it could be like 3 feet. And
you can't even see it. So it's like, there's that magic, I feel like, in the air there, and there's so much stories that go along with that you want so bad to believe. But, like, for things like in the middle of the ocean, which I think we should talk about one day in the future, about, like, ocean.
Why do you want to do this to me?
See, you don't like that.
I hate it.
We should absolutely bring husband Kyle on because
like sea monsters?
He's terrified of deep ocean.
Oh, me too. And I agree with him completely.
See, I think it's fantastic.
I once had, like, essentially a panic attack in a lake.
I'm sure you did.
Because, like, I can't look down into water where my feet don't touch the, like, bottom.
You're a pool boy.
What? I am, because without thinking immediate, especially like if it's dark water, like I immediately start to see like the teeth of like the open mouth as it's like coming up underneath me. I can't do it.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not like that. I will overthink and be like, there's a snapping turtle at my feet in a lake, which I'm like, I don't want to lose a toe.
Well, one time I jumped in a lake and I landed on a sunny, and you know how they have like the barbs?
Yeah.
I immediately thought it was a tooth, had a total fucking meltdown.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, wow. Really like almost like drowned myself.
Well, save it for a future.
That's true. Yeah.
Sea monster.
There's a little teaser for
because I think for me, if we're gonna talk like the big umbrella of monsters and cryptids that humanity has made up or discovered, whatever, I think I don't believe in Bigfoot, but there could be something there about these large sea creatures that we have not figured out.
Or, you know, like, or the fact that, you know, the main reason why we have no evidence of Bigfoot, despite all of the numerous sightings and cultural things, is because he's an alien.
Quote potato.
Yeah, to quote potato.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm fascinated by the stories, and I think they're, you know,
yeah,
I like
it's fun.
The tangential,
and I really, really want to do one of the.
If you do it, I'll do it.
I think we should.
If you sign up, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm not like that much of a camper.
We should we should do it, and then we can document it for everybody else.
We should document it, and we do have some ideas about documenting further, like ghost hunts and stuff.
Yeah, which I think would be fun as hell.
I did before we leave tonight. The other night, like I couldn't go to bed. I was like really feeling sick. Thank you, calzones. You failed me. There was somebody on TikTok doing a live stream of them ghost hunting in a basement.
Oh, that's such a fun idea.
Okay, I don't get scared by shit anymore.
That just scared
the shit out of me.
And they probably didn't hear it.
Okay. What the fuck was that? That was... Why? Why did she start talking?
I don't know.
Oh my god. My heart skipped a beat. You shit yourself.
I did. I shit myself. Oh my god. Alexa.
My Alexa just started talking.
Oh my god.
We did not summon her. And but holy shit, that was scary because we were talking about that, like,
there it is, folks. We had a real life event happen.
I don't get that scared watching like horror movies or supernatural. I get scared by that fucking shit.
Well, that was terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I stumbled upon this, like, it was on my For You page on TikTok where it was saying like how, like, watch this. Yeah. And this guy had like a fucking doll in front of a mirror and was like, this is Maggie and she's always here on my ghost hunts. And he has like all the really intense equipment.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you see that? And I was like, oh god. Like, but there were some bits because you're seeing it in real time. It's not edited.
Yeah, like you're just watching a ghost hunt.
And that was actually kind of fun.
I mean, without getting into this topic,
next, I know it's the end of an episode.
I like, if we do talk about like ghost expeditions,
we're gonna get into
talk about the first one I went on, which was really fun, and we did see stuff. It was really cool.
And I don't know those stories because we didn't talk about it.
There's some really creepy ones. There's some that will send like shivers down your spine.
I'm excited.
Yeah, because it makes me nervous even talking about it.
Oh, you know what? Maybe our next episode should be on ghosts. I know we had another idea planned.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I don't remember what it was.
Fine. Yes, I do.
What was it?
Jack the Ripper.
Oh, that's right. Well, we can save Jackie boy.
We'll save Jackie. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, since I'm going to England in a couple of days,
maybe
I'll gather some ghost stories from London and York and come back with them.
Yeah, and I obviously have ghost stories that I've told.
York is one of the most haunted towns in all of England.
Yeah, I mean, it's really well known.
Actually, in Northern Europe. Yeah.
All right, well, now we're just planning.
Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed our talks on big hairy boys.
Yeah, which is not just bears at Pride.
Yeah.
Somebody had to make the joke. Yeah, Candace, I think we can definitively say you are not Bigfoot.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I'm also not an alien.
You're also not an alien that we know of.
That we get.
You don't phone home at night that I know of.
Oh God, stop! I don't want to think
what
about
if
him.
when I leave here, you just turn to Kyle and you're like, and then like shoot through the sky to the mothership?
Why would I do that?
You're like, I have been compromised. Like, fly away.
No.
Well, now you can't because I called you out on it.
There you go. So I'll have to wait a few months.
Yeah, you're gonna have to really plan this. You're not going to York next week. You're going back to the mothership for a week.
Stop it.
To reacclimate to the planet.
Okay.
Well,
on that,
thank you for joining us this week. This was a fun one.
Let's let them decide.
I'm just putting
you're
it out
calling
there.
it. You're calling it.
I'm calling it. This was a fun one. I liked this one. For me, it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I had fun too. I really like the mead. So
yeah, you did like the mead, especially at the beginning of this.
Okay.
I love this because out. We're gonna talk about big feet.
Okay, we're going.
Yeah, gotta go.
I'll see you when I get back from England.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye, everybody.